Okay, I'm Juicy Jones. Hey, it's Orbital Vaping headquarters. We're early. It's 15 minutes till. This is just pre-show fun. So you're hanging out with me. We're going to start the show with the rebuilding and all that stuff in a few minutes. Hey to everybody in the live chat. I got to get some tea and do a couple other things too. Got to get dressed for my show. What about this? Got to get all of this stuff done. Oh boy. I really need some more tea. Really bad. I do have some water though, which is not caffeinated, which sucks. So I especially would like to know about the audio before we get started, because I'm going to cut all this out of the final one when we go into, after we go live. So I'm concerned that the audio is picking up too much background noise, and I was trying to set the noise gate, and some people complain when the noise gate goes out because it sounds startling or strange. So let me know, talk to me. Hi in chat. Hello to everybody who's here. Hey, there's Leighton. It's great to see you. Hey, Teddy. Great to see you too. There's Rivera. Okay, James Rivera. There we go. Everybody. Hello, all the Jameses. If you guys are interested in this art, this guy has become famous, but it's some person that my girlfriend used to know in college, and I can get you his name. It's on Instagram, but the guy is amazing. He's really busy nowadays, which is really cool. And we own a couple of these things. Dawn bought them when she was, he was just a neighbor or something. And they're fantastic, and he does all kinds of cool stuff. So in case you didn't notice, today we're going to go over some coils and junk and the RBA and the TFV8 Big Baby. I love the Big Baby. I'm such a huge fan. Yeah, baby. I better battery up. So you guys chime in about the audio. I'm going to be in and out doing stuff. Just getting my stuff together here. I got to do some batteries and stuff. Hey, there's a vaping computer guy. Nice to see you. Hey. That reminds me too, anybody out there right now or anytime who's interested in coming on the show and being a testimonial or co-hosting or doing anything like that at all, just give me an email. That's good. I have some emails I haven't responded to, and I'm going to get back to those. But, we're doing a fresh thing here, so everybody say. So, how is the audio? Is it cutting out for those of you who are listening to it? Like, do I sound okay? Am I too quiet or too loud? I actually have my audio cranked down kind of on here in the hopes of getting rid of the background noise. So, I'm not sure what to do here. This feedback, looking for it. A lot of freaking batteries. Batteries. It's always nice to have tons of batteries sitting around for the show. So I've got loads of batteries. These are very handy. Because if you don't, you run out of batteries, and that sucks. I, of course, have plastic cases for all these batteries, which is very important. So I got some charger, DNA batteries at 60%. Thanks, Paolo, for telling me the audio is good. I'm glad. If you guys didn't know, I got a new camera, so the video ought to look quite a bit better too, and even the desk cam is going to look better because the desk cam is now the old front cam. So let me just see if I can find that layer on here. Yeah, this is the new desk cam. Just the old camera I used to use primarily just for the front. Yeah. Here's the old Noisy Cricket 2. And I'm going to use this on the... since I'm going to use this on the TFV8... Oh, we're building our own coil. So I'm going series on this guy. And we're going to have to build on something else because this doesn't have any kind of ohm reader or anything. But I'm going poopers. Poopers in series on the Noisy Cricket 2. And we're in red, so that means direct voltage. and we're set to the lowest setting. That's what I always do with this thing when I put the batteries in. I always set it to the lowest setting. And I'm going to review this thing for real for you guys. I could do that today, I guess. I absolutely adore this thing so much. You wouldn't believe it, but I cannot put this down. If you guys are on the fence about this, if any of you guys have any questions about the Noisy Cricket 2, the question is buy it. It's got a couple of tiniest flaws ever, but it's like the shortest review ever. Hey, is that Michaela? Hey, Michaela. Hi, Michaela. It's great to see you. I thought I'll say her name on the chat. I have the chat window right over there, by the way, so I'm going to try to maybe make it bigger so you guys look all awesomer. Thanks for tuning in. For you guys just tuning in, this is the early show. You see the countdown right there? Countdown. The countdown timer, we're going to be live in about 10 minutes, and so I'm just, we're live now. We're just hanging out, and I'm getting some tea. I'll go to the restroom and chat with you guys and say hi and turn things on. And I'm trying to make sure the audio is good because I want you guys to love the audio. You know what I'm saying? Okay, what was I doing? I was making this picture bigger so your text was bigger. Oh, hell yeah. This is pre-show. Well, Michaela, you got the pre-show because I turned on the thing and it sent you an email and you came. And I'm actually going to, what I'll do is when it's finished, when the whole thing's done, I'm going to chop this part off. And YouTube will start whenever I just start. So in a minute, I'll have a little fake opening where I'm like, welcome to Juicy Jones Orbital Vaping Headquarters. You'll see. Hey, Polish Vapes UK. It's great. It's great to see Luke. Awesome. Yeah, I wanted to check audio. I don't want to just hang out with you fools and see what's up. I got some batteries. I'm going to talk about Yeti's Uncle's coils, which I want you guys to buy, and I have a whole bunch of these. I'm going to do a show on these. Maybe I'll do those and the Noisy Cricket too, maybe Wednesday or something. I don't know. I can't figure out if I have time to do this during the week. That's the reason I've been struggling. Saturdays I've got time, so it's good. Okay. So where's my full-size TFV8? Yeah, if you were going to do a show in the TFV8, you'd think you'd have the full-size one sitting somewhere handy. Okay, here it is. And I broke this, so it's broken. Okay, I'm going to get some tea, and I'm going to grab my scale. Michaela, are you getting audio now? Oh, you got it. Okay, good. Hey, I'm glad. I'm going to grab my tea. I'm going to grab, what? My tea. Cup of tea. It's actually English breakfast tea. No, this is Taylor's tea. I don't know what kind of tea it is. Taylor's. We get it from this place called Big John's PFI that imports all this stuff. So it's some kind of British thing. Hey, everyone's there. Hey, Jay. Hey, there's Greg. Oh, good. I'm so glad. Let's see. James Rivera. I'll tell you in a second ago. Hey, there's Jay. How are you doing, Jay? And Michaela. Michaela wants her sheet. What sheet? What are you talking about? Did I miss something? Oh, where's Josh? Has anyone seen Josh C 1081? Are you here, buddy? I need to look in the view active users. Oh, we don't have him. Hey, Blah 2010. Great to see you. I don't recognize your name. It's nice to see you. Thanks for tuning in. And there he is. There's B-Man. Great to see you. B-Man. B-Man. Cool. Yeah. So we got about 4 minutes, something like that. Ah, yes. So, yeah. I've got some stuff. Some stuff. Some more stuff, a little more stuff. A few steps and stuff. Green giant. Yeah, killer. Ooh, iPhone 7 Plus from your brother. Michaela got a new phone. That is killer. I'm so glad for you. That's going to take some amazing pictures. And don't forget, my girlfriend and I both got really brand new phones this year. She got a new iPhone and I got a new Android phone. I always forget that I've got like the greatest camera and everything, and so does she. So we're making it a point to take a lot more pictures of the dog. I don't mean I forgot it has a camera. I mean, I got it because it has a great camera for my Instagram feed, but we always forget to take pictures of the dog. So I'm trying to take a lot more pictures of the dog just so we have a record of her beauty. And I know you already do. Hey, there's JD Hill. Great to see you. James Rivera, you want to post a number? What kind of number? Sure, I think. Unless it's like my phone number or something. That would be weird. Okay. My problem with my phone is it's always full, even with a memory card. It's always full. It's very frustrating. It can be. So we got 2 minutes. Hey, Kelly Tyson, great to see you. Kelly Tyson. That's a cool name. That's a cool name for a guy or a gal. That's one of those names that like goes both ways. Super great, like Chris, but isn't cheesy. You know, like Pat. Pat's overdone. Remember the 90s? I think you guys remember the 90s when we all joked about it. JT Mun's waiting for some mail. Oh my God, you guys! I have to remind you guys. Hi, Stephen Taylor. Hey, for everyone that just tuned in. Oh, is that a hashtag CP4R2B? Well, James, I'll tell you what, tag me on Instagram, and after the show, when I'm following up, I'll follow up and just tag and figure it out there too. So I'm glad you mentioned it, and I'll see what's up. And I know that James Davis has a waffle going on with Liquid Sky, and he's also going to be, always has sales for the holidays and stuff. But look at my empty smacks, new smacks coming. ShopLiquidSky.com is the name of that website. That's right. So did I already say this for everyone tuning in just now? We're starting up. It's the pre-show. I should have put the words pre-show on here. I don't know why I didn't. Sorry, the mouse overs are screwing up that little display. We got about 1 more minute, and let's see. I'm going to get pretty much ready here. Oh, I need to do one more thing, and that is drain out this tank. So it's going to be just 1 more second, because we're going to rebuild. Oh, that was unsmart. Double plus unsmart, brother. Okay. I'm just going to pop in the restroom, and then I'm going to rinse this off real good and come straight back, and everything will be all dry. And we should be able to get started. I'm going to be a little bit late. Okay. I just hopped in there and rinsed that out real quick. I'm just going to set this on a napkin, and then I'll do a little intro and we'll get started. Oh God, I forgot I got a bitch about the Surgeon General too. God, I'm tired of him. So we're counting up here a little bit. I'm about a minute off. And somebody get Josh Clark to tune in if he's around. He's probably at work or something. But let's see. Okay, let me turn off the countdown. Hi, I'm Juicy Jones. This is Orbital Vaping Headquarters, and you're tuned into Vaping Dawn to Dusk. And today we're going to talk all about rebuilding on the TFV8, talk to you in the chat, and I'm going to bitch about the Surgeon General being an idiot, and we'll talk about coils and junk. And maybe I'll go into some detail about that TFV8 Big Baby. The Big Baby is fantastic. I love it, and it's so awesome. But I hope everyone's going great or doing great. I hope you all guys all have a cup of coffee. I can't talk right now for some reason. 5 minutes ago in the pre-show I could talk. I want to remind you guys that you can tune into the show every Saturday. And I always try to start a little bit early, even though we actually end up starting late because I'm dumb. And we try to do a few minutes beforehand where you can just hang out and chat and stuff with us. So, there's Josh C. There he is right there. So it's Vaping Dawn to Dusk. It's Saturday morning. I'm wearing my Give a Hoot, Don't Bomb Iran shirt, which is good. It's as political as I'm going to get today, except for the Surgeon General. And I want to read you a story, a little tiny story, an excerpt, just a little baby one. But first, I need Dell Vape. You'll laugh at me, but I took apart the vape I was vaping right before the show because we're going to build on it. It's the TFV8 Big Baby. I have to tell you, I cannot put that thing down. But oh, I love it. Huh, that's weird. My bookmark fell. It doesn't matter. I'm going to read you a little story. Have it compose a poem about a haircut. But lofty, noble, tragic, timeless, full of love, treachery, retribution, quiet heroism in the face of certain doom. 6 lines, cleverly rhymed, every word beginning with the letter S. Seduced, shaggy Samson snored. She scissored short, sorely shorn. Soon shackled slave, Samson sighed, silently scheming, sightlessly seeking some savage, spectacular suicide. That's fantastic. That was written in Polish, translated to English. Stanislaw Lem is a genius. And the reason I say that is that, look, I got a big haircut. I got a super haircut. Oh my God, my hair's like totally lifeless right now because I got out of the shower and put a hat on. So for careful viewers, you can see that I've looked like a Yeti for the last couple of months. And I thought I would read you a poem about a haircut and show you that I actually did slice all the crap off. And if you live in Seattle, I can recommend a really great barber. Just message me. They're fantastic. And I forgot the actual name, but I know where it is. It's on Broadway, right behind Maneki. And no, not Maneki. It's right behind Hana on Broadway in that little place on the left. And it's called like Seattle Cuts or something. But anyway, they're so amazing. And the dude did the most amazing job. I mean, like, look at that edge. He took a razor blade to the entire edge of my entire hairline, the whole thing. I mean, he was amazing. Guy's incredible. So anyway, love that guy. Why is my camera flashing? Can you guys notice that, or is it just me? That seems weird, doesn't it? That seems very weird. All right. So there is our pile of junk to get through today. Today we're going to talk about the TFV8 Big Baby, which is in pieces right here. Because I've been vaping on it like a madman and can't stop. But I have an RBA for that. Boom, right there. And we're going to build on that. And I got some random vape mail that's coils. And I want to remind you guys always about Yeti's uncle, Yeti wire. And I'll show you these, but we're going to do a separate episode with these two things where I build with his coils. I don't want to build with those today because I'm just not in the mood to do a great job, if you know what I'm saying. So let's hear it. How are you? How are you doing? What is all going on? Let's see. I think I may have the size up a little bit too big to even read what's going on there, but I hope everyone's doing great. Yeah, I see a little glitch in my video too. Can you guys see it now or no? I hope not. I don't know what's going on with that. That's a little strange. But it's not destined to last. So I hope everyone's having a great one. Now is the time when I bitch about the Surgeon General, by the way. The Surgeon General of the United States, quite simply, has chosen to ignore the health benefits of smoking for politics. Because the truth is, his factual statements notwithstanding, the point is that we owe people the tolerance to explain the complexity of this. It's such a huge health problem. We don't need to reduce vaping down to some anti-children smoking crusade. It's a bigger deal than that. We're talking about 40,000 lives. We need to deal with this head on, talk honestly, and get people into vaping and stop lying. This is some serious bullshit. Anyway, so it's a pretty short rant. He's an ignoramus, and instead of science and educating people, he picked politics. And what we really need to do is educate people about these things and remind people that some of these things and doing due diligence with keeping nicotine products out of the hands of kids need to be tolerated, need to be dealt with, instead of demonizing the entire thing. Because what we're doing is we're condemning people to death. That's exactly what they are. So 40,000 people a year, maybe 50 more, die of lung cancer, and we need to deal with some of the ramifications of all of these things. Kids smoking, kids vaping, we can deal with that, but we cannot demonize vaping because it saves lives. If someone came to you and said they had a 95% cure for cancer, or heart disease, you'd be the biggest hero in the world, but somehow vaping can't do that. And so, anyway, so rant off. Hope you guys all have a nice one. Everybody in there. It looks like we got a lot of people. Got Flavor Hunter. Oh, yeah. There he is. Hold on. And there's Rhonda. She's in Indianapolis. Hey. Hold on. There we go. James, Flavor Hunter. What's going on, Blaine? Stephen Taylor, Tommy, Orbital Joe. Love to see you. Layton's Vapes, Josh C. Oh, and I want to show Josh C something. Because, it's wintertime here. And I've been wearing my pink one. But look at this. Boom. This is your hat, buddy. Oh, shit. Look at that. Oh, it's merino. Don just finished this for Josh, and we just did a thing. He gave me some pedals last year, and so I told him Don would make him a hat. And this is fantastic. Don's like in hat mode. And I'm telling you, dude, you're stoked. Like, this is a fucking good one. I really like this. I didn't put it on. No, that's not true. While she was making it, I tried it on one time to help her out. And then otherwise, we haven't done anything. She's blocked it and everything. I'm ready to put this in a bag and mail it to you. Oh, look at how pretty it is. Please focus. Don't be lame. There's so much texture. You ought to be able to focus on that, right? Come on now. Oh, yeah. My girlfriend's the best. Yeah, there we go. All right. There's Michaela, Flavor Hunter, James Rivera. Yeah. Yeah, so forgive my rant about the Surgeon General. I'm not much of a ranter. That's not true. I'm really a lot of a ranter, but I don't want to go off on it too bad. Okay. So what do we got? Here are some... God, I cannot wait to get the TFV8 rebuilt because it's the shit. I've also got the old one here that I broke, obviously. That's my second glass on these. I know that it's because the glass sticks out a millimeter further than the rest of the tank. It's easier to break the glass on those. And I didn't have a rubber band on it, which you should never do. You should get a rubber band and put it around your favorite tanks. So, yeah, let's do this. I'll tell you what, if you want, I can show you what's in the box. Are you guys interested in that? If you are, I can put let me turn the camera on. I need to get this thing back together so I can actually use it. This is the big baby, and you guys may remember when I got the TFV8, the actual Cloud Beast. I was kind of skeptical and didn't think that I would love this originally, but it turns out that I really, really love the TFV8. So what happened was a couple of weeks ago, 3 weeks ago maybe not quite a month, I was sitting in the living room and I broke this. Like I just dropped it. And this is my last glass. And the TFV8, if you can see in profile, kind of is a millimeter larger where the glass is. And so if you don't have a band around it, which at that moment I did not, they even include bands. So it cracked. And you guys, careful viewers will remember that on the show, I actually broke my TFV8 there, originally the other glass. So this thing had to go into retirement until I get more glass for it. And so what I did was, I didn't actually order more glass for that yet, which I need to do. Like a fool, I haven't done it. I ordered the big baby because I skipped the baby beast, the 22 millimeter version, because I really just wasn't wild about the idea. And I really when they announced this, I thought, fuck yeah, this is the deal. This is what I want. So a 24 millimeter of the Cloud Beast into a smaller size thing. And they've done a couple of things that make it a little bit harder to use. And I can just too long didn't read it for you. This is fantastic. Run, don't walk. If you only the RBA on the full size one is much better, but you may really care about the enormous amount of weight that they shaved off of this. So in SMOK fashion, the packaging is probably better than the actual product. Lol. You get the atomizer, and it really comes with plenty of stuff. It has all kinds of replacements, a 510 adapter, a couple of O-rings, and all of the goodies you need. And this one came with 3 pieces of glass total, which I appreciated. It came with the RBA glass and the clearomizer glass. And that's what I want to get to here to tell you guys. One of the drawbacks to this one is that there's a different piece of glass for the RBA than there is for the clearomizer coils, because the RBA deck is a little bit taller, even though the thing and even wider, even though it screws into the same actual device. So I'm sorry if I'm having trouble getting that in focus for you. But as you can see, that little thing screws into this one and this one, but this one's quite a bit larger. And so they put a taller piece of glass in there. Honestly, this isn't a huge deal if you don't switch between the clearomizer coils and the RBA very much. But the truth is, I really enjoyed in the TFV8 how I could switch them back and forth. So I'm glad I own them both. I prefer the TFV8 Big Baby, and it's important to note though that the RBA deck is quite a bit tougher to build on, and so we're going to do that today. But it's not at all the same as the other one. The other one had a split piece here that went down. Come on now. Right there. It went down inside there, and you could easily fold the cotton down inside of the thing. And so this one's a little bit tougher. You have to stuff it down in there, and so it takes quite a bit longer. But other than that, it's okay. So let's go back to up to the top view, and I'll see if you guys have any questions or anything, because I'm going to pull the cotton out of this thing real quick and do my thing. Hey, you know what's great? I forgot my tweezers in the other room. I'll be right back. Sorry about that. Here's my tweezers. I'm just going to pull the cotton out of here. Maybe I'll get this thing back up here. Just pull all this stuff out. This thing has surprisingly good juice flow. It's a little bit shocking. You wouldn't think it'd be so good for being... I have a little Space Clapton in here. It comes with a Space Clapton, and it's pretty good, actually. I was surprised. And I just put another one in. Just pulling the cotton out. It's got some gunk on there. Oops, I'm not showing you guys very much, am I? I'm just getting used to this new camera setup. I got a new camera, and I moved my desk. And you can see that the background is different than it used to be. Oh, Inquisitor717 says I could get the TFV8 glass in shops. And you know what? You're right. I completely forgot about that. That they certainly sell it in regular vape shops because the TFV8 was popular. I predict that the TFV8 Big Baby is going to be really popular. That's just my opinion. Because I absolutely love it. Okay, let's see what we got here. It's a little bit of a mess. Hello, Gunky. Just going to screw that into a base. We'll check the readings and give it a fire. I'll take off that washer, lol. And Royd Monster is asking about the TPD in Europe, and I'm not sure exactly. In fact, some of you guys like Luke should talk about how TPD and Brexit is going on. There are people in the audience here who can help us out with this. We're on about 60 watts. It's probably a little bit much. I'll go down to 40. Just going to burn off some junk. Those are gross. So, hello, dirty coils. That's strange. Ah, maybe it's not so strange. There we go. Just gonna make sure these are nice and tight. Oh, you better be. Come on, guys. Most uneven. Oh, shit. You guys can't even see the fun. What about the Cleto 120? I'm not sure. Somebody is asking, Adrian Olander is asking about the Cleto 120. I just got the new Joytech tank, which is called the Ultimo, and it's okay. Inquisitor 717 is asking the question, really, and that is, you know, what are the best sub-ohm tanks? And it's real. I mean, you can't just. This is one of those things that gets so much play over the course of a year, and that we deal with so much. It's hard to pick one thing. I'm just cleaning off these coils, by the way, a little bit, because they're dirty. Okay. In my opinion, I'm actually thinking about what my top devices of the year are right now as we speak, and I've been thinking about it for a couple of weeks because I want to do a show on just my favorite stuff or what happened this year. And I realized that I asked myself the question, what is the stuff that I bought this year that came out this year that I'm still using every day or all the time? And so I have a short list of that stuff, and I realized that there's some stuff too that's come out that's just really, really great, but mostly not so much. And Roy Munster's asking if I prefer Claptons to Alien Claptons. I prefer Alien Claptons myself, but in a sub-ohm tank, often I use regular Claptons because Aliens don't fit often. Sometimes they fit fine, but sometimes they don't. Can't always get what you want. Oh, I need a screwdriver. That's what I've been missing here. I've had the wrong tool. So, yeah, not bad. I realize that these coils are spaced funky. And what I'm going to do is move to the narrower guide. Oh, sorry. Thank you, Greg. Thank you, Mr. Greg. Just cleaning these up. They're just ghetto spaced coils. They don't have to be beautiful or perfect or anything like that. But they do need to be spaced, because that's easier. And for some reason, that one decided that it was going to be strange. I'm just going to move it manually. I don't know why. It's because when I tugged them, when I rolled them, or when I was doing them, I didn't do a very good job. So the most important thing, obviously, is to keep the coils inside so they don't touch the edges when you screw this top down on there. And you'll notice that this one, as opposed to the TFV8 maximum size, is much, 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 much smaller. So you really have to watch quite a bit closer This one has an enormous amount of space. You can put the whole thing around the outside of that thing. So it's quite a bit different. So Inquisitor 17 is using his Baby Beast and the Limitless and the Goon. I mean, honestly, that's my list: is the Avocado, the Goon, the Limitless, the SMOK TFV8 family. All of them are good, but they're kind of different. The big one is big, and this little one is my favorite. Let's see. Steven Taylor is vaping Vonage in his Avocado 24. Yeah, that's my favorite, is the Avocado. And I'm going to buy one of the new Avocados. They reissued the Avocado 22 with bigger holes and everything. It's great. Okay, so we're gonna cotton this, and this is the important part, is the cotton part. The rest of it, not so much. These are the factory coils for the TFV8 Big Baby, and they're quite a bit smaller than the ones for the TFV8 regular size, but they taste great. The triple coil didn't last that long, but the double coil's been doing a little bit better. I need to buy some more coils and do a better comparison. It's not really fair to just burn through one coil and then make a judgment, I think, because I could have overheated it or whatever. Let's see. Here's some more parts. I'll get rid of the manual, and then let's see. I just want to make sure I don't confuse the autofocus as much as I normally would. So it's time to take a sip of tea, for damn sure. Oh, someone's asking what I think about the SMOK Alien 220. I won't buy a SMOK mod. Won't buy it. I mean, I would take a Fukai 213 just to have, but here's one thing you know about SMOK. They're always lying about watts. Always. So my problem with the 213, the Fukai, was that it wasn't upgradable, and they disabled the firmware upgrading and made it cheaper. Anyway, it was dumb. So SMOK needs to get their shit together and start telling the truth about the wattage, and they need to get their feature set together so it works consistently and stop gouging people, $80 for 2 USB solders. That's what they were doing. Yeah, totally. But I think that right now, my favorite sub-ohm tank my favorite sub-ohm tank also is the Moonshot 24. This is a great tank, and the Moonshot, but they're such a pain to actually use. Yummy. I forgot this is a vaping show and we haven't even vaped yet. We've been on half an hour. Lol. Oh, Kevin reminded me I'm confusing Sigelli with SMOK. I am. Thanks. Thank you. Duh. Yeah, totally. So I don't know. I'll tell you what. I love. Yeah, thank you for reminding me. I know which device you're talking about now. The SMOK one, not the Sigelli. The SMOK looks fine, and I can't figure out what that tank is. Is that like a short TFV8 that's on that mod or whatever? I like to look at the kit. What is that one? 220 you said? I forgot. We know it doesn't go to 220 unless it's got 3 batteries, and if it has 3 batteries, great. But if it gets 250, it's fine, and I like to look at that thing. And I looked at that Kennedy. Steven Taylor was talking about the Kennedy version of the Avocado, and I looked at that too, and I'm not a fan because the Avocado was already nearly leaky enough, and you're just asking for trouble, in my opinion. I'm sure it's great taste, and there's probably ways to build it. I'm sure I could build it so it was okay, but I'm not a big fan of the Kennedy airflow anyway. But that's really 100% a matter of taste. I mean, some people like bottom airflow, and some people don't. I like side airflow, and then directed at the coil's top airflow, and not mixing it up at the drip tip, but top and side, mainly side. But that's just me, hey, whatever. I'd like to know what you think about that thing. The Cooper Primus is one. Someone's asking what the life expectancy is. I mean, my TFV8, I've broken 2 pieces of glass on it. So on the Big Baby, I've only broken 1 piece of glass. So I can't say. If you're asking about like durability and how they're built and stuff, they're both great. I mean, the TFV8 and the TFV8 Big Baby are built great, good machining and everything. I could nitpick and whine about a little bit of some of the machining here and there, but it's really not bad at all. I gotta find some cotton, y'all. Anybody Loan me some cotton. It's almost like I didn't plan to have my own show today when I was planning to do my show today, because I didn't bring anything I needed. Ah, there you are, buddy. Here it is. Oh yeah, baby. We like cotton bacon. Boom! I like cotton bacon. Love this stuff. Okay. And so Royd is saying he's got the SMOK Alien and the button color wore off. Yeah, I have a problem with almost all mods that color wears off. Like, look at my, look at my Hot Sig DNA 200 after a year. It's totally getting the business. Come on, man. Focus, dude. Really? Do you hate me that much? So it's totally getting the business. But the truth is, I love this. At this point, I'm like, oh yeah, that's cool. So there's my cotton bacon. I love you, cotton bacon. Oh yeah. Well, let's see. Maybe we can just set this. Hey, can I do that? Yeah, look, I can. Is that a win? All right, let's try that. If that sucks, you guys tell me. So this is going to take a little bit. God, this takes a lot of stuffing. I'm not going to lie. Like, it took me a while and 2 or 3 tries to get this right. That's an amount, and that isn't enough. What this likes is thinned out sides and, a regular amount in the middle. So I'm going to have to pull out my amount and then trim the shit out of it. This is going to be a little bit better, yeah. So I'm going to trim the crap out of this. But this is not the particularly easiest RBA to build on. It's passable, totally. It works. But it could be much bigger. After the TFV8, this one's tough. Because the TFV8 is like a joke. It's so easy. I mean, you guys saw in my video how amazingly easy it was. So I've got good volume of cotton inside there. And, we're in regulation tugging zone here, where you want it to just move and not get caught. I've got plenty of density out there. All right, so I'm going this way. I don't like that right there. It's not gonna do great. Okay. Come on, fool. Come on, fool. Get out there. Tell me if you guys can see this. I hope you can. I know you can hear my beautiful, sexy voice. Okay, so I had a little knot there, so I'm going to pull this a little further through, turn it around, and then keep pulling it there. Yeah, I think that's going to, yeah, so now the knot's on the outside. Okay, this takes some grooming, y'all. Serious grooming. Groom roof, rusted. Is it not? Let's see. All I want is for either autofocus or not autofocus to work. Either one. I got my swan scissors from my girlfriend's sewing kit. Don't tell her. Don't tell her I borrowed them. These are really good. They're not even that expensive either. As you can see, I have a hard time just leaving my stuff sitting there on the table while I work. I have to move it around. It's just the way I work. It comes from being an old layout artist. I'm used to moving my stuff around and arranging it in front of my eyes. Oh, Greg is asking about the coil life between the TFV8 and the TFV8 Big Baby. I don't know. That's a great question. How has your coil life been on your TFV8? or your big baby if you have one of those. My coil life on the 3 coil wasn't very good. On this dual coil for the big baby, it's amazing, and the taste is great. The taste is better than, I think, better than the triple. So that's a little bit light on that end. So as you can see, I'm trimming these down, trimming them down. And this one's already been thinned out just by me working it. Yeah, that one's pretty thin as it is. And you'll see here that we're not, let me just indicate that the holes go quite a bit further inside there. The holes go down inside the RBA piece. So if I pull this out of here, you'll see, I'll unscrew it a little bit. You see that the holes are slightly larger than you think. These sink down inside the threads of the RBA. So we're going to stuff this down inside here. What we want is for these to be just about that long. You see how they're they're just trailing down to the bottom of the hole. And then we're going to see if that volume right there is okay to stuff that in there. I'm going to get a smaller screwdriver. A lot of people are going to stealth vaping. I don't know, stealth vaping is an old school thing. I mean, the people are sort of like paying attention to mouth to lung. I think that's great. More power to you. I mean, as long as you're off the nicotine and you're satisfying your cravings and not smoking, you should be okay. That's my opinion. You don't need to agonize over how other people are vaping. If you're bored and interested, like I am, in different vapes and different stuff, then gosh, by all means, you know. But people sometimes forget to acknowledge that this is a little bit of a hobby and not so much of a maintenance thing. And you really made that point well, Inquisitor 717, because you said that you quit smoking, you started vaping to quit smoking, and then of course you see these trends people have. So what you'll notice is that I'm holding this and I'm stuffing this down into that little reservoir right there. There's a huge air hole here, and there's really only one place for it to stuff down, and it's inside this little thing. And sometimes getting the density and the orientation of the strands is really tough on this because this doesn't connect in the middle right here like it did on this. Actually, it does, but it's such a small tolerance, you can no longer really stuff inside there. On the TFV8 full size, you could flatten this out, lay it in, and then push it down inside there. And you can't really do that in this. So this one I'm going to trim down because it's too much stiff. And what I'm doing is just taking the ends off till they work and then trimming the sides until it isn't as much volume inside. And I happen to know these amounts just from trial and error. What I've done is thin them out and just make them so they extend right to the bottom there, and then we stuff it in. And you try to remember what I'm always saying, guys, is try to get the orientation of the strands of your cotton to go correct. Like that one's going downwards and downwards. And this is one of the ways you get good capillary action out of these things. This one, I'm not sure. Also, don't forget that I'm absolutely terrible at building and wicking and everything, so always take that with a grain of salt. Oops, I just borked it. So I'm stuffing that in there, kind of straight. And then I'm going to come in from behind, and I'm going to kind of tug on it to get up. Just straighten out things that aren't straight if they aren't. And we're doing okay. You don't want cotton coming out of there. You don't want cotton poking out. You don't want anything like that. You want this to go straight down inside that little bowl. And you want it to happen on both sides. And, remember what I was saying, that it's a normal amount of cotton inside here and it's less on the outside. So you have to trim like your old school atomizers, RBAs. That's really the big difference between this one and the TFV8 full size is that this one requires more trimming, like a lot more grooming. But as you can see here, you know, you and I are doing it. We're sitting here together as we speak. I'm just going to do some more trimming. I'm just tugging on this to see what kind of volume of cotton I have to deal with. It feels a little too thick. So I'm going to take a little bit of the edge off, not much. Another really fun thing is when you cut your Claptons and unspindle them and have to rebuild your whole thing. I love doing that. Cherry bomb. So we need a little bit less volume on top, underneath, actually. And I think that'll work for this. Yeah, that's good. So you notice that I trim on a given dimension. Like I try to straighten out my ends, and then I trim either the top, left, right, or the bottom kind of separately. Like in fact, this is going to get a little bit less top, to be honest. And then we go in, attempting to keep the strands where the bottoms are on the bottom, but that is not easy, as you can tell. It's one of the reasons why I go in and out several times here. Oh, that's right, I said it. Innuendo land. Innuendo land. Even the word innuendo is an innuendo. It's like Uranus. Oh. Which I never learned to pronounce Uranus like you should. Okay. You guys can't hear me? Is it going on? JT Munn says he can't hear me. Why the spaces on the coils? Greg is asking why the spaces on the coils here. If I can put spaces in, I do all the time. The coils that I put in the TFV8, I was just trying to, I was really just doing an experiment to see what I could cram in there, to be honest. I love spaced coils. They vape great, and they last a long time. There's really no reason to cram them together if you don't want to. Oh, I'm sorry, I was doing that off screen. I apologize. But I'm a big fan of spaced coils because you don't have to worry nearly as much about firing them or figuring out how they're going to fire. Set, forget. Assuming they're even, that is. After that, though, I'm just trying to get the end of this one to behave a little better. And I think I've won. Oops, sorry. Okay, there we go. And you'll notice this goes, like I said, way down inside. Way down inside. Yeah, see? And it's humongous air holes, tiny wicking holes, and then a tank that surrounds it. Let's clean up our mess a little bit, because I'm a clean as you go guy. Goodbye. Trash can. Okay. I don't think we're going to have any contact problems here. And with this one, you want to put the cap on, secure it, and then get a reading on it, and then make sure the reading is good and solid. Because it can be, you can have problems with it touching the sides, just like on the moonshot of the Mage or anything like that. Okay, it looks like we're just about 0.4. Okay, not bad. So I've already screwed that in. I guess I can just put some juice in it. And what do I have sitting on my desk? I have this delicious cranberry that I made myself. I can also use this 007. I only have a little bit of 007 left. I'll use it. It's yummy. Let's hope this works, eh? So when I'm wicking these things, or when I'm juicing these things in the first place, I usually don't put tons and tons of juice in there. I drip it in until it stops absorbing. And the way I know it stops absorbing is that it starts looking wet. Like, that doesn't quite look wet, but now it does. Ooh, this smells good. Peanut butter and banana. And another thing I like to do is, now you can see how that goes. I normally wouldn't have the cap on. We just want to make sure it's wet. You don't want it to be soaked through, because it's going to go down at the bottom here and leak out onto you when you start vaping. Okay. That's a win. It's pretty tight. Yep, 0.4. That's not very many watts. Very nice. Groovy. So, I need one of those coil tabs. Now, we have to use the correct top with the TFV8 Big Baby, and it's got two. It's really annoying to me, actually. I wish they had just made them the same. But it is kind of cool that when you're using the factory coils, it is a couple of millimeters shorter. That looks like 4 millimeters shorter or something, which I cannot lie, that's really good. One of the reasons to have the Big Baby is that you wanted a smaller tank. This fits on here just like the TFV8, but of course it's smaller. And you can see that some of the changes they made. Oops. I don't have the washer in there yet. There we go. So I'm screwing that in. It's tight. I'm going to put the washer in the top. When I first got this, one of the first things I noticed was that the washer for the TFV8 Big Baby was looser. The whole top is looser than the one for the TFV8. And unlike the TFV8, you can open this with one hand. You can't do that with the TFV8, but it has been adequate. So I was concerned at first, but it has been adequate. So there it is, just like the TFV8. Let's fill her up. Don't need to go completely full, because it may be awful. Dab. Okay. There it is. Looking good. Hi, I'm a TFV8. Big Baby. And you'll see the gigantic difference. Gigantic. It's like 19 millimeters shorter and like 17 grams lighter. They shaved a millimeter from the circumference, and they simplified the knurling around the outside so that it was all one simple piece. And it looks slightly less exciting, but it does vape just as good and almost as good. And it's, I mean, this is the stuff. So I am totally in love with this thing. I absolutely love it. Let's go back up top and vape, huh? We haven't had a vape for a while. Hello. What's my setting here? Any settings? And JT Munn says you get better flavor with space coils. Maybe, yeah. I mean, I personally, there's really not much of a difference. People, it's simple. People cram coils together to put more coils in the atomizer. That's it. That's the answer. People want there to be more coils in there, so they put more coils in, and they put them together, and it's harder to set. And then a lot of us just learn to set things that way because we see other people doing it. But you don't have to. It's up to you, buddy. You don't have to. Oh, I wanted to show you guys too that there's like O-rings that come with your TFV8. Make sure you're using these. And in fact, I use even larger ones because you cannot be safe enough with this atomizer. I have broken so many pieces of glass on these. And right now the glass isn't on sale yet for the TFV8 Big Baby, and I'm just waiting for it. So, because I need TFV8 and Big Baby glass at the same time. But I love this because it's so much more manageable in size on this thing. Before this was really honking and huge. And I mean, really, it's 17 or 18 millimeters. It is a humongous difference. So big that it barely appears on this camera. It's like a gigantic, gigantic difference in size. these two things. And the weight too. It's so much lighter by a billion. That tastes great. I've got the airflow out too high because that's not how I vape. So that was a 0.4. Came out to 0.4. It was I think a 28 on 30 to 26 on 32. Clapton, regular Clapton, spaced 5.5 wrap. Totally fit. We got the cotton right in the first try, but it took me 4 or 5 tries. So don't feel weird about getting behind this and being like, I can't make it work. Give it a few tries. Watch my videos and stuff, and pay attention to how much trimming I do. And that's really what it is I start with the little hair clumps, 4 of them, and I trim down until it's going to go in there right. Hey, Dennis Reimer, great to see you. Great to see you. Yummy. And Inquisitor saying he loves his RX200. Yeah, in fact, the RX200 was last year's invention, and none of the ones this year were an innovation except for the 2.3. And really, that was something they should have done from the beginning, in my opinion. That's just me. They get an honorable mention for that, though. So protect your glass on this. But I got to tell you, the thing you have to know about me is I'm a flavor chaser, not a cloud chaser. I can turn this up with the airflow wide open. It's up halfway on my series box. But I don't vape that way. That's amazing. But where this wins over the Kennedy, and although the Kennedy's close, and even my moonshot, my precious moonshot, is that the flavor is there. When I turn the air all the way down to that little tiny freaking pubic hair of air, like I like it there, or maybe there. When my batteries are brand new, I vape it about there, and when the batteries get worse, I warm it up. I turned it down too low there. That's yummy. Well, and Stephen Taylor points out that you can use spaced coils and you can work out the inside diameter and stuff to get the ohms you want. But the truth is, I don't think some people care about what ohms they are, but I used to always calculate everything out. But once I start working with a wire and I know what's going to happen with 7.5 wraps or whatever, I really don't care what the ohms are anymore. I really care more about the build and the airflow and what I'm going to get. Why is my camera glitching? Do you guys see that again? That makes me unhappy. So I'm not sure I care so much about how the ohm readings are going. Sometimes, because you know it's going to be either 0.2 or 0.4 or whatever, and it's going to taste good, and sometimes you just want to grab and go. But that is an interesting topic, because other time, like when I work on RDAs, I usually do a lot more math on that stuff. And the tanks, you can only do so much in the tanks. Probably everyone's the same there. And Stephen Taylor's asking about the Greek Vape Amit too. I just took a look at that today, and I don't know, not impressed. I mean, it looks okay. It's kind of a nod to previous gen designs, and I love that. And maybe it's good. I like what Geek Vape does, almost everything. But and the Eagle is another one of the things this year that was an innovator that did something actually innovative that was good. But there wasn't much of that, actually. I don't think that's as innovative. And Inquisitor is saying he sees vloggers that are reviewing mouth to lung all in 1 month. I think that's just a trend in what's going on. Like I have the new Anakin right here, the 22. Yummy. But if I had to recommend one go-to thing for the sub-ohmer right now, it would be Noisy Cricket 2 and the TFV8 Big Baby. This combo is sick. The RTA is a step down from the big fat TFV8 beast. So if you want the full-on beast, get that one. But what I've noticed is I know a lot of people who have the TFV8 who use the factory coils. Just saying. And a lot of people, including people who own vape shops and are cloud chasers and stuff. So because this has great flavor out of the factory coils. So that's cool. My one criticism is that the factory coils don't support temperature control, which sucks. But I don't care. They're good. And you can vape this thing with the factory coil at 60 watts all fucking day, and it is great. That's the dual coil, and you can go up to, 80 or 90 on the triple coil, and you can go as high as you want on your RBA if you build it right. Oh, Adrian Olander says that he's a single coil kind of guy, and so he's gonna get that Geek Vape tank, and that's what I was thinking too. Is that looked like a really good tank for me to like put in my pocket when I'm going out running errands and stuff. My problem with Geek Vape tanks these days is that they're kind of tall, and I'm looking for small. My favorite tanks are the Moonshot 24 and the TFV8 Big Baby. So for me. And the TFV4 is and the Moonshot's only that big, which is freaking amazing. I mean, I would love it if all tanks were no bigger than this. So to me, Geek Vape makes really tall stuff, and I wish they would stop. Because, like here is my Griffin. Boom. It's humongous. And where's my avocado, my Eagle? I was just vaping on the Eagle to compare it to these the other day. And I misplaced it somewhere. So let me ask you guys, did you guys see the, let me get this right. Have you seen the new Joytech touchscreen mod? Let me just get the name of it. Let's see. Yeah, not that one. Joytech has two things, the Cuboid 200 and the Ultimo, obviously. But where's their new thing? They have a brand new thing. It's a touchscreen mod. You guys will tell me what the name of it is in just like an instant. Huh, that's weird that it isn't on the page here yet. That's strange. No worries. I'll just look here. I'm going to be embarrassed when I get the name. I'm just bad with names, that's all. I don't remember anything. The Ocular 80 and 150 or whatever. That's what I'm thinking of. The Ocular. Thank you. So how many of you guys seen the Joytech Ocular? Can I show you that even? Yeah, look. Where is that thing? And why are you so bad? Here, window. That's it. Have you guys seen that? It is a touchscreen cuboid mini. This one has a 5,000 mile LiPo and a the Joytech stuff, but it has a music player and plays has a video screen and everything. And I ordered it. I ordered it immediately, and the reason is because the cuboid is massively amazing, and the cuboid mini is my most used mod. In fact, my cuboid mini is on the charger in the other room right now. I use that mod every day, and they got the sweet spot. They got real 80 watts. 80 watts is the minimum. A single 18650 doesn't really give you 80 watts, and it has a LiPo in it that's 2500 mAh, and the new one is double that LiPo, same 80 watts, and it's going to be so massively useful. It's a little bit bigger, which I'm not going to be wild about, but I'm such a huge Joystick fan that I just did it. And also the thing is that I'm not that guy that's going to diss touchscreens and all that junk. There's just no point. I mean, look at your calendar. It's the new century and everything. We can just keep moving on. We're going to get vapes with touchscreens and cell phone plans and the whole 9 yards. It's coming, so we may as well get them and look at them and give them some feedback. But Joytech is uncommonly good outfit as far as making cool shit. So I really like those guys. But it is pretty funny. But I did see it, but as soon as I saw it, I was like, Joytech is one of the very first ones that I would be like, yeah. I know Lassimo and SMOK and some others have made touchscreen mods that are good. But I mean, Martin, one of our OVHQ TV vape fam, has the Lassimo one. He really liked it, and I'm such a huge fan of the Cuboid and Cuboid Mini that I'm sold. I'm on it, so I can't wait to get it. But that one that had you guys are joking about that one that was iPhone case. It was so bad. And I saw another one a little more recently that was sort of like one of those e-cig types where it flipped out and you vape on it and it's a phone case. And I was like, oh my God, that's terrible. Hey, Greg Lusty, take care, man. Nice to see you. How long have we been going? It looks like we're just about to wrap it up here. I really don't know how long we've been going, to tell you the truth. Maybe you guys could tell me. But I'm not through hanging out right away. We can keep on going here for at least a few more minutes and talk about whatever stuff. Let me see here. Oh, yeah, we're going a little bit over, so we got to go pretty soon. That's okay. No harm done. Yeah, it's getting on 9 o'clock here. And the G-Priv. Yeah, me too. That looks good. And Stephen Taylor asked the question, let's see how those hold up to the drop test. Hell yeah, exactly. And my question is there a backup? Like, what if it has a touchscreen and it fails? What do you do then? So that's going to be a big deal. That's going to be a very big deal. Oh my God, this amazing Noisy Cricket 2. I swear, guys, if you don't have a Noisy Cricket 2, run, don't walk, and get them. I'm ordering a second one as soon as they make them in colors. I love them. I need even less airflow. This thing vapes like a champ. And it hasn't been leaking. See, what happens is one of the ways you know you fail is you can either be vaping and get bad dry hits inside your normal vape range. You know, I don't try to test it and like, well, that's not true. I do that. I usually test it and try to chain vape and see when they go dry when I'm doing the RTAs. Excuse me. But for my normal, everyday vaping, I don't actually chain vape till it's hot and burning all the time and test it. So, depending on what kind of mood I'm in. So, in this case, it's vaping just fine the way I vape. In fact, I couldn't make it give me a dry hit. Sometimes I can do that with my bills. I'm sure I could. I've got it on about a sixth up on my voltage meter. So it's probably like 4 volts, 3.5. No, like probably 3 point. I mean, I'm not sure. This thing goes from 3 to 6. So it's probably 3.2, something like that. Yeah, Michaela, this is not the Noisy Cricket like it used to be. This is the Noisy Cricket 2. Old Noisy Cricket, new Noisy Cricket. Old Noisy Cricket was a shitty piece of thin-walled aluminum shit. New Noisy Cricket has every safety chip ever and lets you. It's amazing. It's made of steel and whatever this is, zinc or steel. Has a real button. This is amazing. Not that you have to get a Noisy Cricket, but this is what they should have released last year. The Noisy Cricket 2 is a great mod, and it's safe too because it's got reverse polarity protection and like you can't vape more than 10 seconds, and you can turn it off. Look, it's off. And if I press this button for 5 seconds while it's in series mode, it goes into direct voltage mode. So that's white, you'll notice. And if I turn it off, and hold the button for 5 seconds. The camera's trying to focus too much. See, we're in direct voltage mode. That was way too much juice for that. So you hold it down for like 8 seconds, actually. They say 5, but it's 8, and it goes red. And we're back on. So now we're back in. Oh. Amazing. But so I dragged this thing out, and because I was so threatened by, all of the, I vape on a billion of these tanks, and I compared this tank, like whole tanks, with the Monster V3, with the Limitless, with the Tornado Nano, which I freaking hate. I have a whole rack of these things. The RTA 2 from Heracles, the TFV8 proper, all of my Joytech tanks. I put this thing through the ringer. What's going on with my video? Well, I don't know. Stop it. Stop it. I'll say stop it. That's weird. And I felt guilty. And so I tried, apples to apples, vaped on this thing with the RTA and the factory coils next to all of them. And this one is my favorite one out of these types of tanks. I still think the Limitless and the Avocado are better, or just as good, depending on your tastes. But having an avocado in this is all you need, really, or an avocado and a Limitless in this. Of course, I love my Limitless. I use it all the time. It's empty now. Well, almost empty. But I still think the avocado is slightly better. But this is the sub-ohm tank to beat right now. And I was going to completely ignore it this year. I stand totally corrected. I got one of the TFV8s, and now the big boy has just got me. It's amazing. Michaela, you love your Tornado Nano? Gosh, I hate mine. First of all, I hate the fact that the ring comes off the bottom so easily. So that comes off the bottom, and it's loose. And if you get it to screw in with the ring on there and do airflow, it's totally loose, and it goes tinkle, tinkle, tink. And you have to put so much cotton in it. What is wrong with my camera, y'all? Somebody stop sabotaging my camera. Stop that. We're back. You had to just hit the camera. Yeah, I really don't know what's going on. Gonna try that. We'll see if it works. So the Tornado Nano, you have to put so much cotton in it for it not to leak, that you get dry hits. So you have to vape at real low wattages, or you have to stick super shitloads of cotton into it. I hate this thing. I tried, but man, and there's no flavor, and the flavor that comes out of it is like so muted compared to my TFV8. Plus, it's actually the double Cyclops is good. It's my favorite, but the bottom ring I just can't deal with on the Tornado Nano. Yeah, JT says my camera has hiccups. I don't know why. Sometimes that happens when I plug in 2 cameras, and I just unplug the other camera and it stops. So I got to go do some troubleshooting or whatever later. Yummy. So yeah, I wanted to do so much due diligence and vape on so many things compared to the TFV8. And the TFV8 Big Baby, that I just really went nuts. I got my Eagle out. I got my Geek Vape Eagle and my Kennedy. Not Kennedy, sorry, my Griffin. And I vaped on those madly. And a lot of these are close. The Griffin is close to the TFV8. It's good, so I think it's a good... The Griffin has juice flow control too, which is kind of cool. But the TFV8 doesn't need it either. The TFV8 uses a Kennedy drip tip now, which is nice. Yeah, that's the Griffin, and it's good. The Griffin 24 is really good, but I prefer the TFV8 because of the airflow. The airflow is never really restricted enough for me on the Griffin. Whereas I can get a thick, hot, dense vape out of the TFV8 with the airflow down low, and it still tastes dense and resists for me, because I need it to resist a little bit. That is fantastic. That's amazing. Really, the big baby shit. And you saw how that was just a ghetto spaced coil. That was not a big deal. I mean, you could put nicer things in here, but all this requires is just a regular Clapton. I put a Clapton in. I wasn't wild about the vape with straight wires or parallels on this. They were too wet most of the time, and vaped at lower wattages. Even though I'm only vaping at about 80 watts on here, by the way, 65 to 80 watts. This thing vapes at 65 watts. So great. It's about 80 on here with this. Let me just pop this on the DNA, and I'll show you how I get good life out of this thing vaping at 65 watts-ish. Where am I at on this thing? Yeah. It's about 69, something like that. 69. 69. So I forgot to ask you guys what the hell y'all are vaping on. I feel so rude. I should always do that. Yeah, there's 65 watts. That is delicious. Really delicious. Holds about 5 mil. Has the TFV8 fill system, which I absolutely love. This tank is great. Really, really great. And them slimming it down and lightening it up, they really took like 17 grams of weight off. Like now, this is a terrific tank. Really terrific tank. They've dialed it in. What is this, their 5th try or something? 6th try? The TFV4, another TFV4, TFV8, TFV8 baby, and then the big baby. So they should have just skipped the baby, in my opinion. Hey, Sean Taft. Yummy. Hey, Michaela's asking about crack pie. I was just asking someone about that the other day. I saw it. I don't know about that. I'd like to know. I'm so excited. I've got some JT Munn. I've got some, sorry, not JT Munn, sorry. I've got some JD Liquid Sky coming in the mail, so I cannot wait to be able to vape that some more. And so what should we do? So if you like this video, like it. If you hate it, click that down button so we know how much you hate this. And I want to thank all of you guys for tuning in. We're just going to hang out for another few seconds here. Everybody have a great day out in YouTube land. Join us again for our next show, which will be either Wednesday or Saturday. I'm not sure yet, but if you're subscribed, then you'll find out. If you're not subscribed, click on the little button down there, and you'll get updates for the channel. And we do vaping and vape reviews and vape live shows like this. So I love all of you guys, and I love vaping. And you guys make sure that you get out there and vote, also so we can keep our vaping rights. And after the show, we're going to hang out and talk for just a few more minutes, so don't take off. Thank you, and vape on. See, isn't that great? Now I can cut that. When we go later on, I'm just going to chop it. So we had a little hangout before, we have a little hangout now, and I'll just edit that later to get it off. Inquisitor17 asking about CBD vapes. I hate all those vapes. I don't know anything about those. I think, like most of them are terrible. The cannabis is an oil, and all of our vapes are based in liquid. So I have yet to find one of those things that was either any good or didn't gunk things up beyond belief. So, people that vape cannabis have a different method for it, use different hardware and stuff. For me as like, an influencer on YouTube and Instagram or whatever, it's annoying to be conflated with the cannabis all the time. Like, people think that some people in my family think that I freaking, used to think that I was advocating for cannabis for a year for like this passionately. And I was like, man, there's a cause there, but this is about quitting smoking for me. So, hey, there's Train Sonic. Great to see you. I'm going to edit this thing and get it back up with just the main show there, the big boring part. And this is just a hangout afterwards for you guys. So, yeah. And so there's another good question for you. If you know, what are you vaping on that you bought this year that you're still vaping on? Put it in the comments below after the video goes live, because I'm very curious. I should just ask people that as it is. Yeah. So who do we got? Yeah, Josh, JT, Kessel, great to see you. Bob, Inquisitor, an active new face today. That's so totally killer. It's great to see you. It's really great to see everybody. Kelly Tyson got back to me about his name. He's like, yeah, I'm a guy, but it is a good girl name. It's cool. Oh no, I scrolled all the way up. I missed that comment from before. I'm sorry. I like hit the top button. Yeah, Stephen Taylor. I think the CBD thing is just a gimmick too. I don't see the point in that. I don't think I haven't seen any. There's no point in mixing up e-liquid and CBD stuff. And there is a place for CBD vaping hardware and liquids and everything. But I think riding the cigarette quitting chain or train is hurting our cause, not really helping theirs, because people want to legalize weed anyway. So they need to leave smoking alone, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. Because there's going to be a market for that anyway. You know, we're really advocating fighting to get regular mainstream as people to get out there and pretend like this is the NRA. You know, pretend like every single thing about vaping. Go out there and stand at the city council and talk and say, "I quit smoking," because you know that's how it is. So yeah, so my new camera looks pretty good. It kind of focuses a lot. So I don't know about that. It's good that it focuses better than the old one. That's really nice, definitely. But the old one's like on the fritz. That is so good. I'm telling you, the TFV8 is superlative. I own all these other ones. The only one I don't own out of this generation of tanks, of sub-ohm tanks, is the VCMT and the Mage. And I know the Mage is the same as the Moonshot, so I know it's great. And this one has taken the place of the Moonshot because it's easier to build, and it's great. Well, Inquisitor makes a point that it's not a gimmick. There's 300 cannabis compounds in CBD that are good, and I don't think that's what he was saying. I think he was saying that marketing it to vapor, you know, nicotine vapors is a gimmick, or that's what I thought. That's what I mean, and I agree with you about the case to be made. There's a great case to be made for using all that stuff and everything. I just think it's a different topic, and it has more traction than us. It's doing better than us, and yet they glom onto us just to sell stuff to regular people, and so that's really what I meant. Because I agree with you. It's useful and everything. Oh, look at that. Kessel. Kessel's vaping on his limited box mod. And I'm going to make him happy by busting mine out. Yeah, I am. Definitely vaping on it. Absolutely. Right there, baby. What I love about this is being able to go through your settings where you're like, oh, 80, 120, 60, 80, 120. I love that. Train Sonic said he had a few smokers say vaping's bad for you, so he challenges them to a foot race. Yeah, fuck yeah, dude. Run as fast as you can to the end of this parking lot and meet me there, and then we'll measure our heartbeats when we stop, and then 60 seconds later. We'll both be out of shape, but you will be sucking wind, puking. Maybe not puking. Well, maybe. Kelly Tyson uses the TFV8 and the Moonshot. I tell you, I love it. Yeah. I love this thing. Yeah, I love the Limitless mod. It's great, but it's really heavy. And so I use this thing around the house a lot, and then sometimes I take it out. I always take this out when I want to impress people. So I definitely bust this out when I'm like, hey, look at this shit. Top that, baby. People are like, oh, that looks cool. In fact, I'm going to put it, why didn't I use it today instead of my DNA? I like my DNA. So JT's got all of his stuff's dual coil or single coil. Yeah, totally. I get that. And you can't put a single coil into the TFV8. I'm glad you said that. I can't believe I didn't mention this. You can't put a single coil into this like you can, say, the avocado. So, you know, the avocado is single coil friendly. This isn't single coil friendly. So, Oh. It's like if you have a collection that's got the avocado and this and say a goon or a twisted messes or a petri or a dot mod, like there's 5 or 6 great RDAs that just can do no wrong, really. Twisted messes, the goon was added this year, the velocity, the petri for some people, and then better ones, different ones for single coil stuff. But if you got one of those in your collection and one of these, and then a mount to lung tank, actually. Hey, I'm going to ask JT Munn. JT Munn, what's your favorite mount to lung tank that came out this year? Because you follow those things pretty closely. I didn't see tons of innovation in those things. I mean, I did see a lot of tries and a lot of different things. But I'm just curious if you thought any of them were actually like groundbreaking, like, oh my God, no one did this last year. Or things that you bought this year that you're still using, that you're actually like, yeah, I use it every day because I actually love it. And sadly, Inquisitor 717, it isn't legal in most states. It's only legal in a few. But anyway, this isn't a discussion about cannabis. Like, we're pretty pro-cannabis, but it's just, I just want cannabis and e-liquid nicotine vaping to be separate things. And I don't do any cannabis advocacy, research, talking, anything on this channel. But I do get bombarded with offers and advertising and people that want me to promote and talk about cannabis stuff. And I'm always like, no, I won't, because this is about cancer. And your product is about selling your product. It's not, they're not doing a lot of, I'm not here to judge whether it's good or not. I just want that to be a different industry for me. Because that is a big industry and it makes millions of dollars here in Washington. But I'm not judging. I don't judge at all. Not even the slightest bit. I'm pro-cannabis. I live in Washington, so we're pro-cannabis. We're glad it's legalized. We're glad it's good. It makes a lot of money. And, there's virtually no arrests for weed. I mean, they just don't arrest people. Train Sonic's on his Copper Doge V3. Oh, the Doge V3 is pretty cool. I didn't know there was a 3. Am I just forgetting? Because I remember the Doge V2 was really cool looking and had the cool dog. And I'm just curious. Oh, JT Munn says that he likes the Rose V3. Yeah, okay. What is it about that you think is so spectacular for this year? I'm just thinking about mount to lung stuff, and the only things that I was really impressed with were pretty pedestrian. Like, I really appreciated the fact that a lot of big manufacturers came out with quit kits, like Joytech and Innikin began last year with their T18. They stuck with it. That's good. But everyone jumped on that bandwagon this year, almost literally. I mean, Home Tech was first out of the weird manufacturers. But a lot of those it might be that mount to lung is getting kind of iterative. It's getting kind of good to where it's like doesn't need lots of improvement. It's maybe people are just looking for more style things, bigger airflow here, less airflow here, single coil, bottom tank. I don't know. I'm going to have some homemade hazelnut. Ooh, that's good. Ooh, very yummy. Yeah, that is good. Oh, Surgeon General, you buffoon. You fool. Yeah. Yeah, the reason I haven't used any of my other mods recently is that this Noisy Cricket 2 is so great in your hands and feels so good. And, I mean, in your pocket, in your hands, it's just a fantastic mod. Oh, I love this thing. And Inquisitor 717 points out that, some things about cannabis. And, I mean, it's true, there should be no negative effects on vape just because of CBD, but there are. And, that's not my fault that that's true. But they shouldn't. I don't want them to be combined because the stakes for quitting smoking are far higher than the stakes for understanding CBD in the short term. The stakes right now for this and plowing through all the science and getting regular people at home to support this and stop yelling at us in the streets are 50,000 people a year dead. And for cannabis, it's simply not true. Cannabis is a much bigger social issue, and it's just separate. And I can tell you that I agree with you on principle, but from, like I'm telling you, from an industry standpoint, from my perspective as being someone who's exposed to all this industry stuff, it's noisy and annoying, and the culture of it is all completely not mainstream. Like, I'm trying to reach a lot more people than I can reach by supporting that. And it's not because I don't agree with that. It's because that's how things are. Vaping, nicotine quitting vaping, has the broadest appeal of any kind of club or hobby I've ever been involved in, because it's everyone from people who are, 19 who just quit smoking, all the way to people who are 80 who smoked for 40 years and quit smoking. It's all of us trying to get our health back. And what we're debating about now is more like a societal, overarching type of issue about how we should treat intoxicants and that kind of stuff in general. And it's valid, but it's just not about what I'm doing, and the nicotine, the vaping. See what I mean? That's really all I'm saying, is just that one fact. I'm not judging or making any kind of comment on cannabis. It's just that I'm keeping it separate because I don't want to do two things at once. I don't want to be confused, and I don't want to approach regular, normal people on the street and then have them constantly be asking me about that, when all I want to talk about is how they don't understand this nicotine vaping stuff in the first place. And that's just another barrier you have to get through if we combine it all. So they're really separate. And I don't want to say that it's negative. It's just that some people see it that way. That's the confusion here, maybe, that we're having, is that I don't see it as negatively. It's just that it affects my message negatively, that it's harder for me to get it out. I spend less time with my message and more time explaining stuff if I decided to do that. And a lot of people do see it negatively and just see it as, frivolous or whatever, which I don't agree with. But that's not my decision. So, I'm focused, laser beams on vaping and quitting smoking for people. Oh, and yeah, that's right. Kezel points out that he's curious about the new Nautilus too. I'm curious about that too. I've seen that thing. I did get, for you guys who are into clearomisers, I got the new Joytech Ultimo tank, and it's pretty good, to be honest. It's probably Joytech's best flavor sub-ohm tank with the biggest airflow, but it's a little whistly. And I think it would be good for someone who doesn't demand as much flavor. Like, personally, the TFV8 is better, but the TFV8 sucks a lot of juice, obviously. Yeah, and Kelly Tyson says he always gets a lot of questions. Like, I get people in public saying, like, oh, is that marijuana? I mean, like, I'll be at work vaping. I'm like, no. Why would I be sitting here in the smoking section of work vaping marijuana with you on a smoke break? Like, that is just lunacy. But that's what people think. And so, I have to tell them, like, it's about quitting smoking. Even people who know something about vaping sometimes think that. Is that marijuana? I'm like, no, it's not. Yeah, JT points out, it's funny how the government tried years to come up with something to help people quit smoking. And it was a smoker that came up with a way that works. And this has been around a long time, too. It's just that we really need to double down. There's a bizarre disconnect between the U.S. and Europe, or UK, when it comes to smoking and vaping. And I hate it. I hate that America has a war on science. I hate that being stupid in this country is now cool. And basically, if you're a dumbass, somehow, you're the one now. And so that's just not how I was raised. I was raised to respect science and other people, and I just am so sad at how vaping legislation and just how everything is going these days. Hey, there's Owen Ginter, made it home. Nice to see you, buddy. It's kind of late, I know. So we're just on the after show hangout for you guys who are just tuning in. I hope no one's just tuning in. We're just having a good time talking. We had the show. I went over the TFV8 build and showed that to you guys. And I ranted a little bit. Not much else. Oh, and Josh says people ask him to clean his coils after they use cannabis on them. Oh God, it's so freaking filthy. You have to turn them upside down and let it gunk out because it's oil, and you have to use alcohol, rubbing alcohol, because it's the only thing that will actually. It has to be a solvent. It can't just rinse. It's actually a thick viscous oil. So it's funny. Team Beergasm. And look at this. I shaved it all off today, Owen. It's funny. Oh, so Kessel's been working in China 2 years, and he's going back to the UK in a couple of weeks. Yeah, and he's about to see a lot of different vaping reactions. I'll tell you, try to get everything you can in the duty free, right? Oh, shit. I know it. And Owen points out that crack pie is good, Michaela. And JT points out, obviously, it's about money, and that's absolutely true. And the worst thing about America is that the entire country seems just so determined to point out that nothing is about money and everything is about money. And the government creates all conditions for making or losing money. So the two biggest lies in this country is that there's any such thing as a free market. That doesn't exist. Governments create markets and regulate them. That's what governments do. And that, somehow there's any explanation for the way they treat vaping and other common sense things like that, then common sense. What they want to put transvaginal probes into women's vaginas instead of feeding children or giving people health care. And they want to make sure that you die of lung cancer, but keep paying Philip Morris until you die. That's literally American policy. And it's sickening. Sickening. Yeah, I'd like to try the crack pie. It was Owen that was telling me about it. Michaela. That's what it was. I remember I was talking to someone about that just the other day, and it was Owen who was doing that. Kesel, you ought to be okay bringing your vape gear on the plane because, in my experience, first of all, don't check batteries. You probably already know that. Like, bring your batteries with you in your bag. And in my experience so far, the dudes look at it and I go, and they're like, oh, okay. I'm like, I quit smoking. And it's okay. So far. Your miles may vary. I hope so. Inquisitor 717, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for being so interactive and giving us so many ideas and talking to us so much too, because it's nice to have discussions and to talk about different stuff too. I really appreciate that. Anybody who contributes to discussion, love that. Vape fam. Yeah. Yeah, I'm just reading a little chat here. Evilly Juice is having a sale. Which one is a cotton killer? Oh, Owen said that the crack pie is a cotton killer. Yeah, one of my favorites is a cotton killer. This Good Juice vape, Latiza, is a cotton killer. Real bad. I can't really vape it in tanks. I mean, I can, but it always tastes like it. Okay, well, I love all you guys. I think I'm gonna tune it down or turn it off. Close the stream, let Google do its thing, and I'm going to see you guys on the flip side. I'm on Facebook and Instagram, and don't forget on Instagram, they have this new thing where it's like the new thing, where it's temporary stories like in Snapchat. So get me there, hook me up there. I try to send you guys messages. Anyway, I think you guys are great. I love all you guys. It's been quite a while here. I'm going to tune out. Let's vape away. And I hope you guys have a great week. Thank you, and vape on.